Ever think about how everyone's kitchen has a fridge humming away? Then you've got the Amish, living like it's the 1850s. The crazy part? They're not just scraping by, they're doing great. No shiny appliances, no digital screens on their fridges, definitely no automatic ice. It's all about the old skills passed down in families. The really mind-blowing thing is how long they keep their food fresh. Like, years. I didn't believe it either at first. But when you get a glimpse into their storage, it starts to click. You see shelves loaded with glass jars, all with different kinds of food inside. Peaches, tomatoes, all sorts of beans, you name it. They're not plugged into anything. No buzzes, no lights, no sounds, just glass. And a bunch of it. Let's talk about one of the things they're best at. Canning using hot water. You probably know about this. You might have even thought, that's not too hard. Trust me, it can be. So yeah, my first shot at peach canning was a total mess. Stuff all over the place. Half the lids didn't seal right, and one of them broke. The Amish, they're on another level. Clean everything, heat it all up, fill it, cook it, see, perfect. Without fail. Here's what's really amazing. If you do it right, a jar can sit there for 5 years. Seriously, when there's a storm and all people do is run to the store to get food, the Amish are in another world, opening up jars of summer tomatoes like it's nothing. And here's the real secret. It tastes great. Canned stuff does not mean barely edible. It's full of flavour. The pickles have a good taste and snap. The peaches taste like sweet sunshine. The tomatoes are like the best homemade pasta sauce. Didn't come from a freezer or plastic. Okay, so that's not enough. Wait until you hear about ashes from a fire. Yes, ashes. The stuff you toss after your campfire. For them, it's a magic ingredient. They store eggs, carrots, turnips with odd. Yes, but true. Clean, dry ash makes everything too hard for germs to live. No germs, no food gone bad. They hide eggs in ash, big piles of them. Everyone like it's a gold treasure. And what happens later? So fresh. They didn't need a fridge or chemicals, just ashes. It's kind of genius. I had to try this myself. I buried a bunch of eggs, about 12. A month later, I went to get them like I was trying to find buried treasure. I had ash falling everywhere, and I was starting to think if I should do it. But you know what? The eggs were perfect. I made breakfast with them. It was great. Of course, the ash matters. You have to use clean wood. What I mean is, it can't be wood that's being treated or logs that are all full of stuff. But the Amish know all this. They learned it. Unlike us, they never forget how to do it. Okay, so the other thing they do is something you see in survival guides. They store meat in fat. What happens is the meat gets covered in animal fat that melts, then hardens as it gets cold. This is like super strong food wrap. The meat doesn't go bad because the air can't get to it. One time I tried this. It felt like I was on Naked and Afraid. 2 months later, I opened it. The meat fell apart. I'm not sure my family believed me when I said it was okay. I told them it was and they ate it. It was fine. This works now because it's been used for ages. The French. They even call it comfy. If it's good enough for them, it's okay for me. Also, it gets even better as time goes by. Want a surprise? Sometimes there's some crisp bacon in it. I had it happen. It's a nice surprise to have. Then there's fermenting food. I don't mean that expensive tea stuff. I'm talking proper old school Amish fermenting. Sauerkraut, pickles, beets. It all comes down to main items, salt, and keeping it a while. How it works is the good infection takes over. The end result is no need for electricity. Giving it patience and keeping it somewhere cool. How long does it last? You can keep it for years. I made sauerkraut once. I opened it early and almost passed out, but I gave it the full time. After 2 weeks, it had flavour and was crisp. My cat wouldn't go near it, but I liked it. Here's something you should know. Fermenting food has been going on for around 9,000 years. That's before everyone even built the pyramids. It has helped for a long time to get through storms and food problems. The Amish kept doing it. So you're thinking, why aren't more of us trying this? We've got what it takes. But we're spending so much money on junk food. The Amish are storing eggs in ashes and closing up bacon. Here's the main point. These ways of doing things may seem old, but what should matter is they work. No internet needed, and no worries as the power goes out. All we need is jars, ash, fat, salt, and time. You'll feel like you beat the system. It's like, what if things tomorrow go wrong? You would still have food. Okay, so we chatted about keeping food safe in water baths, using ash, sealing things in fat and turning food sour to keep it. Fermentation. Turns out the Amish are not stopping there. They have tons more to teach us about food and keeping it for a long time. And some of their oldest techniques are really something else. Think about drying stuff. It sounds easy, like just leaving your clothes out to dry. But in Amish towns, it's way bigger than that. It's about staying alive. A bit of science and some serious kitchen skills go into it. Before anyone could buy a dehydrator from online stores, the Amish were super good at putting fruits and veggies out in the sun or drying meat real slow in ovens. You just get rid of the water so mold can't grow. Then you have food that's light, tastes strong, and can keep for years and years. It works magic. I saw this Amish family once. They had this basement that was like a living food library. Rows and rows of dry apple slices, pears, and even meat hanging up, all thin and dry, like fancy jerky decoration. The dad just looked at all that food and said, "With 7 kids, you figure out how to keep food around." He meant it. When your house is stuffed with kids who are always hungry, you grab and save every bit. Got extra apples? Slice them up. Got too many tomatoes? Make tomato snacks. Have extra beef? Jerky is a good idea. The best part? If you keep it all in the right spot, that dried food can stay good for like 10, 15, or even 20 years. Some folks eat dry apples that are older than their kids. Seriously. Talking about the apples, of course, haha. Now, I tried drying some stuff once at my place. I was sure I knew what I was doing. I first cut up some apples, put them in the sun, thinking I was all smart. I went back, and my neighbour's dog was sitting there licking his chops. He loved my work. Gotta remember to put a lid over the drying stuff or the animals will eat it all. Plus, the way you dry stuff, brilliant. No plugs, no junk added, nothing made of plastic. You just let time and air do their thing, take it easy, and you'll end up with snacks to last for days. Great for mixing up snacks, tossing into soups, or grabbing when you sneak into the kitchen late at night. Speaking of easy and quick storage, let's talk about root cellars. Root cellars. Think of them as an Amish fridge. Everything is nice and quiet, no motors needed. Just a cool, dark place dug into the ground where all sorts of veggies can hang out for months. Just walk into a root cellar, you'll smell dirt and apples hanging in the air. You'll see wooden boxes packed with all kinds of stuff like carrots, potatoes, onions, and turnips. Walls lined with jars, like a room full of stored treasures. The awesome stuff, how well it works. The ground keeps the temperature steady, like 32 to 50 degrees Fahrenheit, depending on the time of year. That's perfect for keeping veggies. The air keeps them from drying out, and the dark keeps them from sprouting. Simple, but so smart. Root cellars have been used for ages, even back in Roman times, or by Native Americans, or even your grandma made use of all these. The Amish keep using them today. I helped a friend fill his root cellar in fall. I thought it would be real easy. 3 hours, and a ton of squash later, I was ready to find a new skill. Still, seeing all that treasure lined up felt good. You know what's really cool? Apples in root cellars get tasty over time. The flavors settle, sweeten up. It's like wine getting better with age. But wait, we have more to talk about. Let's get salty. Salt is one of the oldest, most trusted ways to keep foods from turning bad. Folks have used it since way before anyone could write down recipes. You take meat or fish, pack it in salt. The salt takes out all the water, which stops the bad stuff from growing. The result, meat that lasts, maybe forever. The Amish put salt on everything, no matter if it's ham to trout. It takes work. Oh yes, but you get a lot out. And salt doesn't stop working, just unlike a gym's payment. I tried salting a ham in my garage once. Big mistake. I really didn't know how much salt to use. My shoes were full of salty water, and the dog stayed away from me. But the ham was still darn good, and lasted. Honestly, all these ways to keep food are easy, but they work. Don't get a degree for this. Just give it time, be interested, and go dirty your shoe a bit. If salt is not really your taste, then vinegar will do the trick. Pickling, taking stuff and giving it taste. You take normal cucumbers and they're delicious and crunchy after taking a soak in vinegar. The Amish pickle eggs, onions, you name it. Vinegar is a strong acid that kills the bad stuff from growing. That's why unopened jars of pickles stay 5 years or longer. Plus, it tastes strong. My first batch of pickles were so sour, they were inedible.
I had to learn.
Now, I can make some pickled eggs. Something like this is comforting. A shelf full of pickled foods is like a time machine. You can have food of summer while it's December, or make a blah sandwich amazing with just one bite. The biggest plus is all you can do these things without needing wires and plugs. Most of us might worry if the fridge conked out, but the Amish would say they were eating beets tonight. It's staying self-dependent and is more than just staying alive. Not needing appliances. Doesn't call for plugs. Takes control of food, money, and tomorrow. So even if you decide not to cut yourself off from the system and live for tomorrow, it's great to know you can. You just need a jar, salt, fat, or maybe some ash. Oh, and a lot of waiting around. Okay, so think about all the wild ways people keep food from spoiling. I mean, we soak stuff in water, pack it in salt, let it rot in a controlled way, dry it to a crisp, drown it in vinegar, and even bury eggs in freaking ash. And get this, there's still one more trick out there. Thanks to the Amish. And this one you'll enjoy. It smells amazing. It's all about smoking food. Now, not the kind you do with a cigarette. This is the real deal. You're talking wood smoke, super low heat, and a slow burn that turns ordinary meat into something you'd expect to find at a fancy restaurant. It can keep you alive if the world ends. For the Amish folks, smoking meat isn't just about making it taste good. It's how they keep it from going bad, that can stay good for up to 2 whole freaking years. Yeah, you heard me, years. So, how does it actually work? Well, they hang up all sorts of meats. Sausages, hams, even fish. Sometimes they even smoke cheese. The meat hangs inside these little buildings called smokehouses. The fire burns super slow down below, making smoke that swirls all around the food to dry it. It also adds natural stuff that kills germs. It's basically science, but it smells like you're at the best barbecue on earth. I talked to this one Amish farmer who told me he calls his smokehouse his second fridge. And I get why. You walk inside and it feels like you are in a combo steakhouse and barn. You take a breath and you just get all these smells of good home-style food. Most importantly, it's safe. It's food that sticks around. I tried smoking meat once on my grill with wood chips that I had soaked. It was all right. The flavor was awesome. Sadly, I went way overboard with the hot spices. The chicken wing I bit into felt like I ate a tiny bomb. My mouth still hasn't recovered. You live, you learn. Need less cayenne and more waiting. And that's really what this is all about, isn't it? Waiting. Time. The Amish way of keeping food fresh takes a while. It doesn't happen super fast. You just can't throw your food that is left over in the fridge and forget about it. You need to make plans. You need to measure. You have to keep watching. You have to wait it out. And that's why it becomes something great. The funny part? This is how we used to eat. It wasn't that long before you were born. But your grandparents probably knew how to keep a big beef roast fresh or dry apples. You had root cellars. You used ash and salt. Now, with microwaves and meal kits always being sold, we gave all of that up to make life easy. The Amish didn't give up, and this always amazes me. These tricks do more than just keep food from spoiling. They keep history alive. Every jar, every smoked ham, every egg that's buried in ash is a connection to all the people who came before. Think about herbs too. These all play a big part too. That thyme sitting in your kitchen, the Amish look at that as more than just something to add to your food. Dried herbs like rosemary, oregano, and thyme are all friends in keeping food fresh. They hang these herbs in bunches, use them to rub on meats, put them in jars. The point isn't just for the taste, but that they fight germs in a natural way. Did you know the old Egyptians used thyme to keep mummies from rotting away? It's true. So if it can do that, it can surely help your stew stay good for a few more weeks. It's these little things that start making you look at food in a different way. You don't see it as something quick you grab when you get home or something to get on an app. The food becomes something you respect, something that you create. If you have a pantry with food stored the Amish way, it's more than just being full of food. It's confidence. It says to you, I've got this. If the lights go out or prices go up or if the stores are empty, I know what you might be thinking. That sounds neat, but I don't have the time to make butter every week. That's fine. Most of us aren't living in the woods or raising goats. Here's the cool thing. You don't have to live like the Amish to learn something from them. You could try one or two of their tricks. Begin with something easy. Maybe a jar of pickles, or dry some apple slices on a window that the sun shines on. Maybe ferment some kimchi. It smells funny to be sure, but the food is delicious and crunchy. Just maybe, after this coming winter, when all your friends are trying to grab the last can of beans at the supermarket, you'll be eating your salsa from the shelf. Canned, sealed, and tastes like July. It's not about becoming perfect. It's about preparing. It's about that warm feeling of being a part of something bigger than yourself. It's about food that is mouth-watering and tastes like something. And that lasts for a longer time than you might think. If all this seems a bit old school, that's perfect. Because maybe we need old school in our lives today. Less in a rush. More thoughtfulness. Less wasteful. More intent. Less tech. More personal time. The truth is, these skills are extremely important. These days, things change overnight. We saw it when the store's shelves were bare, when the power was out, when prices went way up. The Amish, they just kept living. Like they always do. Their way of life isn't flashy. It's not fast. It just works every single time. Maybe that's the lesson here. That the careful, unhurried, handmade way still has value. This know-how is passed on through the generations and is way stronger than any tool you can buy at the store. Storing food and not using a fridge isn't just about surviving. It's a way of life. So next time you're staring at that fire pit in your backyard, you might not just think about s'mores. You might think about eggs. When you cook some bacon, you'll decide to save some fat. When you grab a basket of apples, you'll decide to dry half. Maybe you will also plant some rosemary and use it. And who knows, maybe you'll build your own small food, leaving a legacy, one jar at a time. In the end, it's not about preparing for when the apocalypse happens. It's about cherishing the best of it.